Hello and welcome. So today I have for you a total of 13 fragrances. But because we've just entered the fall season, I thought it was time to bring out the gourmands. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some fragrances that I consider to be gourmandish because they're not necessarily going to make you smell like food. And then I have others that I would consider to be full-on gourmands because they are going to make you smell like a yummy and absolutely delicious dessert. But I want you to know that all of these fragrances have already been reviewed here on the channel. So as I go along, I am going to share a little bit of information with you, but I'm not going to go in depth. So let's go ahead and jump right in. But before we do so, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. All right, so the first fragrance that I want to share with you is from Armani Prive, and this one is Magenta Tanzanite. And look at what an exquisitely beautiful bottle. I just really love the bottles of the Armani Prive collection. They're always so exquisitely beautiful and elegant. But anyway, so Magenta Tanzanite is a fragrance that I would consider to be more of like a gourmandish kind of scent because this fragrance is all about a beautiful combination of spicy notes and tonka bean and tobacco. But at that, the fragrance really gives you like a certain feel of yumminess while making you feel beautiful. This is a scent that is sweet. It is warm, spicy. It is not very sweet though. So this is not the one that you want to pull on those days where you really want to smell like a dessert because that is not what you're going to get. But still, you are going to smell rather yummy. Here you have quite a number of spicy notes, but primarily I pick up like on cardamom and cinnamon. The opening is a little bit airy because there are some citrusy notes there. I don't clearly distinguish the citrusy notes, but the opening is definitely airy. Then there's that note of coffee, which has been done exquisitely here because at no point does the coffee take a dominant role. It's like a very smoothly done coffee. And then you have those spicy notes, which make it for like a spiced kind of coffee kind of scent. At all that, you have quite a bit of vanilla and you have the tonka. And the vanilla and the tonka at certain parts of the olfactory journey will give the impression of the fragrance having kind of like a caramelly kind of scent. But I tell you, this fragrance is absolutely perfect for the fall season and for those days where you just want to smell beautiful and yummy, but not quite like food. So something that I forgot to mention in the opening and that I want to bring up now is that in today's lineup, I have not included fragrances that we all know are gourmands and that we talk about all the time. So I will do a quick honorable mention, even though I didn't even pull them. So I'm talking about like Blanche Bête and Bianco Latte and Escapade Gourmand. You know, those fragrances that we talk about all the time and that we all know are exquisite gourmands, those have not been included in this lineup because I wanted to bring something different today. All right, so the next fragrance is from Profumo di Polignano, and this one is Crema Limone. And this is a fragrance that is an exquisite gourmand. So the thing about this gourmand is that it is going to make you smell a little bit like food, but it's like a very like airy kind of lemon dessert and topped with like a whipped cream or something like that. This is absolutely incredible. I just absolutely love this. And the thing about this gourmand is that you can wear it all throughout the year. You don't have to limit yourself to any specific season because it is quite suitable for just about any season of the year. This is a fragrance that performs exquisitely. It borders on beast mode on my skin, but what I love about it is that at the dry down, it has the most exquisite like lemony, almondy, kind of dessertish kind of scent. I can't even explain it in any other way. Crema Limone is definitely sweet. It has quite a bit of citrusy notes, as to be expected, because we're talking about a dominant lemon note, but the lemon here is not tart in any way or obnoxious or too much or overbearing. No, 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 because the blend here is so balanced and done so nicely. There's quite a bit of caramel and you are going to pick up on it. And there's definitely vanilla. So for me, it's all about like the lemon, the vanilla, the caramel, and that touch of almond. But the almond is definitely present. It's not dominant, but it is definitely present. But that's what I think adds more of that yumminess to the scent. I really recommend that you try Crema Limone if you have not had the opportunity to do so, because I think you're going to be very impressed that this is definitely a lemon-centric kind of scent that doesn't have that tartness or screechiness that we find in other gourmands. This is perfect for any age, for any occasion, day or night. The only requirement, in my opinion, would be that you are a true gourmand lover, because it is definitely one that's going to make you smell a tad like a yummy lemon dessert. So the next fragrance that I have for you is one that I would consider to be like a classic. If you are a gourmand lover, I'm sure that you're familiar with this fragrance. And this one that I'm going to share with you today is actually a flanker to the original. The original is by Kilian, Angel Share. And today I want to talk to you about Angel Share Paradis. Now, this is the latest. Well, actually, no, I think there's one that just came out in 2025. This one is the one before it. And I did not pick up the most recent one, which I think it's Angel Share on the Rocks. I still have to get my nose on that one because I haven't even tried it. So if you've tried it, please let us know in the comment section what you think about it, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, you know. But Angel Share Paradis, I absolutely love. I actually do enjoy the original, which I also have right here. But I have to tell you that although this is an exquisite scent that immediately is going to evoke like a cool weather type of environment, I have to tell you that I love Paradis because Paradis added to the original the note of raspberry. And the raspberry is clear in this fragrance. It is very juicy, it is ripe, it is sweet, it is very natural. You know, it has nothing synthetic about it. As in the original, this one is boozy. It has a lovely note of rose in it, a ton of vanilla, but at the end of the day, you're going to get the same kind of scent that you get in the original, just with the added note of raspberry, some spicy notes, some tonka bean. It is just a delight. The one spicy note that I do want to bring to your attention, in case you're not into it, is definitely the note of cinnamon, because I find it to be more present in this one than in the original. I have a dedicated review of this fragrance here on the channel if you're interested in more details, but I tell you, this one, this is a gourmand that you definitely want to at least try if you haven't to date, because especially if you are a lover of the original, I dare say that you're really going to enjoy this one, maybe even a bit more, because for me, I still prefer this one more than the original. Now that I've had a chance to really use it and enjoy it and compare them more and more, I am really loving this one more than the original, even though the original will always be a love. The next fragrance that I have for you is definitely a gourmand, and this one is from Jousset, and this is Oh My Gourmand. Now, this is truly, to me, a gourmand scent all the way, because this gives me like a lemon custard kind of scent. But at that, it's almost like it could also be like a lemon pie kind of scent. All I know is that when you wear this fragrance, you are going to feel and smell incredibly yummy. You're going to smell not like a snack. You're going to smell like a true, complete dessert. This fragrance does have quite a number of notes that are very interesting, because it does have rice powder, and it has some lemon custard, if I recall correctly, but then it has the note of orris, which makes the dry down a tad powdery, not very powdery, but definitely powdery. This is a fragrance that I think is perfect because it's very versatile. Even though it is a gourmand that's going to make you smell like a dessert, I think that you can dress it up, you can dress it down for any occasion, day or night. It is also one that I think you could even get away with wearing to the office because, again, the yumminess, it's not like excessive or anything like that. It's just truly a very pleasant and kind of like bordering on clean gourmand scent. I just find this fragrance to be rather different than all of the other gourmands that I have in my collection, where you find the note of lemon as one of the centric notes. All of these fragrances are deep loves, but this next one is definitely a super love for me because it will make you smell yummy, but for some reason, while you're seriously going to smell yummy, it doesn't necessarily make you smell like full on like a specific dessert, if you know what I mean. You're just going to smell yummy from the different notes involved because wow. So this one is from Mancera and it is Amore Caffe. Now, Amore Caffe is a fragrance that, as the name says it, does have a very centric coffee note to it. But in addition to that, there is a ton of vanilla here. There are some spicy notes, so the fragrance is warm, spicy. And the thing about this fragrance is that you are going to smell yummy, but this is one that I dare say that you could wear for just about any occasion, day or night. This is suitable for just about any age. It is a fragrance that, while being fun, is still going to make you feel rather special and sophisticated. There is just something about the way these notes have been done here. The other thing that I find rather interesting about the fragrance is that it is boozy. It does have a note of amaretto, which I clearly pick up on. So the fragrance is boozy, but it's not excessively boozy. It's like that booziness comes in with like an additional layer of sweetness because the fragrance is truly very, very sweet. They have disclosed the note of ice cream, but to be honest with you, I don't pick up on any creaminess coming from like an ice cream note. The creaminess that I pick up, I really think is coming from the note of vanilla and from that caramel, which to me is not necessarily syrupy, but it's kind of like creamy, like flowy and creamy. I just tell you, there is something so unique and special about this fragrance because I find that the notes in this fragrance can be found in other gourmands, but it's just that the way they have been done makes this one stand apart, and I absolutely love it. Anyway, Amore Caffe, let's know if you've tried it because I know so many of you probably own this fragrance because it is definitely a love for many, including me. The next fragrance that I want to share with you has become one of my favorite gourmands as it relates to gourmands that will make you smell fully like food. And this one is from Cirque du Soleil, and this is the Eau de Parfum. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with this bottle because when this was launched, we all just went haywire over the scent of this fragrance. I do recall getting a sample before picking up the bottle, and I just knew I had to have the bottle. I did resist for quite a while because I thought to myself, you know, I have a good number of gourmands at this point that do make me smell like a yummy dessert. But once I tried this one, it definitely stood apart because let me tell you. So for me, and I have described this here on the channel so many times, but to me, this is the fragrance that speaks to like being at a fair. Regardless of the season of the year, you're like at a fair. And you've decided that that day at the fair, you're going to eat and do whatever you want. You're going to live your best life. And you come into the fair and the first thing you sniff is very buttery popcorn. And you go and pick up that popcorn. Next, you're going to pass by like a stand where they're selling like caramelized apples. And you pick one up and throw it in there with that buttered popcorn. Next, you're going to pass by like the cotton candy and you're going to pick up a big wob of cotton candy and just mix it all together in that same bucket where you have your big buttered popcorn and your candied apple. Then you're just going to continue walking along the fair. You're going to get a big sundae with all of the possible toppings that you could get on it. And you're going to get some funnel cake and you're going to put some good sweet toppings on it. And then you go sit somewhere and you eat all of that at the same time. The scent that you get from that combination of all of those yummy desserts is definitely the scent that I get from Cirque Eau de Parfum. This is an incredible gourmand. If you are a gourmand lover and you really want a gourmand that is going to make you smell like a yummy dessert, this is your friend. This is the fragrance because there is no escaping smelling like a true dessert when you're wearing this fragrance. For me, this is suitable for just about any occasion. Personally, I would not wear it to like a formal event because this is definitely going to make you smell like all of those desserts that I mentioned. And for me, other than that, you could wear it for just about any occasion, day or night. And it is suitable for just about any age. I think that this is also one that you could wear probably during the fall, winter, and opening of the spring. On a very hot summer day, I'm not sure that I would recommend it because I have tried doing that and it is just a bit much because this is quite sweet and all of those scents are quite strong. And the performance is absolutely beautiful. Let us know if you've tried Cirque de Parfum. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is from a fragrance house that, if I'm talking about gourmands, whether they're full-on gourmands or not, and I don't bring up one of the fragrances from this fragrance house, then I don't know, I think I've missed the boat because this fragrance house has, we've come to know it as a true gourmand fragrance house. And I'm speaking about Theodoros Kalotinis, and this is Coffee Addict. Now, Coffee Addict is a fragrance that, just as the name says it, is all about the note of coffee. But the thing is that this is a very dominant coffee fragrance without making you smell like a barista. You're going to smell like coffee, but it's going to be a yummy coffee. It's not necessarily giving me latte or any specialty coffee type. It's really giving me the mix of like coffee with like a very present cacao note that almost makes the cacao scent come across as like a dark chocolate that's mixed with the coffee. There's some caramel, there's a ton of vanilla, and this is definitely a sweet fragrance. I think that this is perfect for a very cool weather day. This is not one that I would pull during a hot or warm spring day or a hot summer day whatsoever because it can be a bit much. It does perform beautifully, and I think it is best suited for the ages of 25 plus. I'm not sure that a very young individual wants to go around smelling like a yummy coffee. That's just my opinion. But wear what you want, when you want, and how you want. Remember our motto. But all in all, this is for me one of my favorite coffee-centric, truly coffee-centric, because Caffe Amore is definitely a coffee-centric fragrance, but there's so many other accords going on there. Here, it is more truly about the coffee taking center stage, being the star of the fragrance and not letting go at any point, but at the same time, being quite wearable, which is what I love about it. Let us know if you've tried Coffee Addict and your thoughts. The next fragrance that I have for you is from Trussardi. And I have discussed this before here on the channel where I just really think that Trussardi is one of those very underrated fragrance houses because their fragrances are exquisite, they perform incredibly, they are just incredible, and they do not get enough attention in my opinion. And this one is a beautiful gourmand that focuses on the nutty aspects of like a yummy dessert. And this one is La Vie di Milano Passeggiata in Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II. And that is a handful to say, but here is the beautiful bottle. So this is a fragrance that indeed opens up immediately, setting the tone for what is to be a very nutty scent. You are going to find here some coffee, you're going to find some cinnamon. The cinnamon is quite present but not dominant, but the fragrance overall is warm, spicy, and it is very nutty. Nuttiness is the most present accord that I pick up all throughout the olfactory journey and throughout the wear of the fragrance. There is a floral presence to the fragrance. There is a little bit of jasmine that I pick up on, but the one that I pick up on the most is the tuberose. So this is really more about the white florals. You are going to find quite a bit of vanilla, and you are going to find a tad of woodiness in the background at the dry down. But all in all, this is a fragrance that really masters that nuttiness with all of those other notes on a base of a very present musk to the tune of a level 2 to 3, but not animalic in any kind of way. The other thing that I find so interesting about this fragrance is that in addition to those notes and accords, there's a coconut present, and the coconut is a tad creamy. It almost borders like on a bit creamy and a bit like flaky, like roasted. And I get that scent clearly at the dry down. I don't pick it up in the opening. I do start to sniff it like midway in the olfactory journey, but at the dry down, that coconut is present and will continue to be present. And it adds like another layer of character to the scent itself. All in all, this is a fragrance that I highly recommend that you get your nose on. The performance is stellar. It is suitable for any occasion, day or night. But again, for me, this is more of like a fall, winter, and opening of spring kind of gourmand. And this is one that, while not making you smell full on like food, it is going to make you smell yummy and give you that cozy comfort feel that you're looking for on a very cool weather day. The next fragrance that I have for you is from one of my favorite fragrance houses. And from that fragrance house, this one has got to be one of my top picks, and I have quite the collection. And I am speaking about Love Delight from Amouage. And look at what an exquisitely beautiful bottle. So Love Delight is a fragrance that opens to my nose citrusy with a very present orange note. At that, immediately in the opening, and throughout the entire olfactory journey, at the dry down and throughout the wear, the one note that sticks out to me the most is the note of ginger, making this fragrance for me truly a spices-centric kind of fragrance. In addition to that ginger, you are going to pick up on some cinnamon, and there are other notes here. I can tell that there's a mix of spicy notes here, but I really can't distinguish any other. There is a floral presence to the fragrance. There's some heliotrope, there's some rose, and the dry down is a bit powdery. There's also quite a bit of vanilla. The other very interesting twist about this fragrance is that it is also boozy. There is a yumminess here. This is almost like a spiced, and if they would have added coffee, it would have been like the perfect spiced coffee. But this is like a spiced kind of warm drink, and I can't even explain why I feel that way, but that is what I get from the scent. But it is definitely yummy without necessarily making you smell like food. At the end of the day, the scent is just beautiful, and it is perfect for cooler weather. For me, this is a fragrance that you could probably get away with wearing it during a warm spring day and even during a warm summer day. Not on a smoldering hot day, but you could probably get away with wearing it just about every season, as long as it's, not too hot. Because this is a fragrance that does retain a bit of freshness and airiness, and I think it's because of the note of ginger. The citrusy notes in the opening do have quite an impact, but by midway in the olfactory journey, at least on my skin and to my nose, they're completely gone. And it's more about that floral presence, followed by that vanilla, and of course, the ginger with a touch of cinnamon. Although the fragrance is boozy, it is not very boozy, and that booziness does not play a key role for me, which is why I don't make it a point to really, mention that booziness. You are going to pick up on the booziness, but the booziness is not one that's going to be so present that you would have to be concerned about it. Overall, this is an exquisite fragrance. I mean, coming from Amouage, what else could we expect? But I absolutely love it. The next fragrance that I have for you is from my favorite fragrance house. So yes, of course, it is Giorgio. And this one is Naxos, 1861 Naxos. This is an incredible, beautiful fragrance that will not necessarily make you smell like a specific dessert or like a specific dish, but I can't explain it. There is a yumminess to this fragrance that is very present, and that will definitely get you hooked on this fragrance, and you're going to be addicted in no time. This is a fragrance that has a ton of vanilla. At that, there's also some tobacco, which adds character and oomph to the fragrance. There's the note of lavender, which is the only floral that you're really going to pick up on. But the vanilla will always be the star, because to me, this is very much a vanilla-centric kind of fragrance. You are going to have some tonka, That tonka will combine with the vanilla, create like a vanilla caramelly type of effect, type of scent. And you are going to have an exquisitely done note of honey that I am telling you, it is one of the best honey note fragrances that I have in my collection, because the note of honey here doesn't pick up any kind of funk. It's not overwhelming in any kind of way. It is just beautiful. The other thing that I love about this fragrance is that although it does have a floral presence, it's really like a very smooth kind of floral presence. And to me, it's more about a bouquet of white florals in the backdrop all throughout the journey and throughout the wear of the fragrance. At that, it is definitely a fragrance that does open, in my opinion, a bit fresh spicy, but then it becomes like warm spicy. And midway in the olfactory journey, the spice that you're going to pick up is definitely the cinnamon. The opening is a bit airy. That airiness by the dry down is kind of gone. It's really not a dense fragrance, but it's not necessarily, a vanilla-centric fragrance that is airy at the dry down and throughout the wear. But all in all, this is a fragrance that you could wear for any occasion, day or night. You could make it your signature scent. It is, suitable for just about any age. And it doesn't have oud, and it doesn't also have musk. So it is one that you could wear. You could dress it up. You could dress it down. You could wear it to the office. It is just such an incredibly easy pull, versatile kind of fragrance. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is from also one of my favorite fragrance houses, and this one is Bond Number 9. And from Bond Number 9, I want to share Chelsea Nights. Now, the thing about this fragrance is that it has quite a bit of character and edge. This is not your regular, let me just smell kind of yummy and get that cozy feel type of scent, because here you have notes such as patchouli, oud, leather, it's ambery. And so there's quite a mix of notes, and not just notes, but accords and tonalities. You are going to pick up on the patchouli. The patchouli is more present, I would say, at the dry down, and it is definitely a smooth patchouli. The oud, I would say, is like a level 2 to 3, but it's not barnyardish in any kind of way, but you are going to pick up on it faintly. I don't think that you're really going to necessarily pick up on it, because the fragrance is really not about that. Now, the funny thing is that I don't pick up on the note of leather much. I do pick up on it very faintly midway in the olfactory journey, but at the dry down, I really don't get the leather. At the dry down, what you are going to get is a beautifully exquisite scent that is focused around that note of cacao. For me, this is very much about the cacao. Those spicy notes where primarily I pick up on the saffron, and quite a bit of character added by notes such as patchouli, that woodiness, and that faint leather that then kind of disappears for me at the dry down. But all in all, this is an incredible, incredible fragrance that I think if you are a gourmand lover and you are looking for a gourmand that's not necessarily going to make you smell like a dessert or a specific dish, then this is one you definitely want to get your nose on, because this is the epitome of gourmand elegance. This one you can dress down, you can dress up, even though it does have that very present note of cacao and it does have a certain degree of nuttiness. This is a fragrance that you could wear for just about any occasion, day or night, and not have to worry about, smelling or having that scent that evokes elegance and sophistication. This is definitely a fragrance that you can wear for just about anything. Let us know if you tried Chelsea Nights and your thoughts. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is from Roja Dove. And I have to tell you, to have this kind of lineup and not bring up this fragrance would really not be an option, because when I tell you, this to me is truly a masterpiece gourmand. If you are looking for an elevated gourmand, then look no further than Roja's Lost in Paris. This fragrance is, I tell you, I try to not pull it as much as I would like, because I really don't want to have to pick this up again, because it is quite pricey. But at that, it is worth every penny, in my opinion. This is truly an elevated gourmand. This is a fragrance that's not going to make you smell like any specific dish or dessert, but you are definitely going to smell yummy. There is such a collection of notes here. The fragrance definitely opens up citrusy with a very clear note of like blood orange. It's like a mix of oranges, but there's definitely blood orange. And I would even say there's a bitter orange here because I do pick up on that tad of a bitter citrusy scent. The fragrance also opens up quite boozy, and that booziness will be with you throughout the entire olfactory journey and throughout the wear of the fragrance. The booziness is not excessive, but it is definitely a boozy scent. The fragrance does have a warm, spicy feel to it, and I clearly pick up on the note of cinnamon, and I do pick up on other spices, but I don't clearly distinguish them. I just know that there's like a warm, spicy accord that encompasses different spices, but the one that I really pick up on is the cinnamon. It's not dominant in any kind of way, but it is definitely present. There is definitely a floral presence, but the fragrance is really not about that floral presence. Those florals are like in the backdrop and I don't even know what they are, but there's definitely a floral presence. There's a creaminess, and it's not necessarily a full-on lactonic scent, but it's a tad lactonic. It does have that creaminess, and I think it's coming from like a note of butter. The fragrance is sweet, and for me, it's all about a ton of vanilla, because to my nose there's a ton of vanilla in this fragrance, but that vanilla combined with the note of caramel is what makes the fragrance rather sweet. Not ultra sweet, not cloying sweet, not sickly sweet, but it is definitely a very sweet fragrance. The other thing that you need to know about it is that it is definitely musk based. The musk here is to the tune of a level 3 to 4, with 5 being the most and 1 being the least. It's definitely 3 to 4, more 4. But the musk is also a tad animalic. But it is done in the best way possible. I just think that that touch of an animalic quality to that musk is what gives the fragrance an additional layer of like character. I can't explain it, but although it has so many notes that could just make it like a sickly sweet kind of regular, gourmand, I think that that touch of an animalic quality is what brings the fragrance to the next level, because again, this is not your regular gourmand. To me, this is the kind of gourmand that you pick up when you have quite a bit of experience with gourmand fragrances or fragrances in general, because if not, I dare say you may not appreciate the masterpiece that is this fragrance. Let us know if you've gotten your nose on Lost in Paris, and how do you feel about it? What do you like? What you don't like? What worked for you? What did not work? So since we're talking about masterpieces, I figured that we would end this lineup on a high note. And how could I talk about gourmands and not bring up Guerlain Fève Gourmand? Now this fragrance, wow, I can't speak highly enough of this fragrance. This is just incredible. This is a gourmand with a very centric tea note. So if you are a tea fragrances lover and you have struggled with finding a gourmand kind of fragrance where the tea note still continues to be the centric note, but it is really more of a gourmand where you're going to feel and smell yummy, look no further. This is the fragrance that you definitely want to get your nose on. This is absolutely incredible. Here you have the note of cacao. There's a certain degree of woodiness. It is a bit boozy. It's not very boozy, but it is definitely boozy. It has a very present cacao note that I don't know how they did it, but couples very, very well with that tea note. And the fragrance overall has like a warm, spicy feel to it. There is a floral presence to it. It's more a little bit of rose. I barely pick up on it. The rose to my nose comes across as a bit mature, not older or not smelling pleasant, but it's not like a freshly bloomed rose. It's a rose that has bloomed. It's been several days since the rose bloomed. But at that's not the factor of this fragrance. That rose does not play a role in the yumminess of the scent, because the scent is really all about that cacao note, a good bit of booziness. It does have some woodiness, and it is also a tad smoky. Definitely a tad smoky. And I think that is what sets this fragrance apart from other, gourmands that may have similar notes and that may give you that kind of same elevated gourmand type of feel. The note of cacao here has been done so nicely because it picks up on like a bit of that spiciness and not clearly allowing you to distinguish one spice from the other. Do I pick up on different spices? Absolutely, I do. But it's not really about the spiciness. It's more about, again, that cacao and that tea note, which are really dominant. I know that describing it like that may not really allow you to really understand the level of yumminess and elevated gourmand that this scent is, but truly, this is a fragrance that is going to make you smell absolutely beautiful while also giving you that complete yummy vibe, because it is truly very yummy. It does perform beautifully. It does border on beast on my skin. The projection is exceptional because it does exceed the 2-hour mark, and it does have a moderate sillage. It is the type of fragrance that when you wear it, people will definitely ask you what you're wearing because the yumminess, it is just really exquisite. Let us know if you've tried Fève Gourmand, what you like about it, what you don't like about it. But for me, this is one of the best gourmands out there. This one and Roja's Lost in Paris are at the very top of my list of top gourmands in my entire collection. All right, fam, so we've reached the end of today's video, and I hope that this was enjoyable for you. I just wanted to come and share with you my gourmands of the season. These are the gourmand fragrances that I have pulled now that we've entered the fall season. I've already worn a couple of them because I have so been looking forward to really wearing them. I really enjoy many of them because they don't necessarily make me smell like food, but they do make me smell beautiful. They make me feel beautiful while also giving me that yummy scent. Anyway, let us know which one of these fragrances, if any, you've tried or which ones you plan to try in the future. I highly recommend all of them, and I know that you will enjoy them. As always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.